Now today's Taste of the Ozarks. Here's Chef Nicole Young putting together a holiday-style appetizer that will brighten up your menu.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Taste of the Ozarks. And if you're already starting to think about those holiday party foods and things that you can bring for a quick party ad, this is an awesome, awesome bread dish. It can be an appetizer, it can be a side, it can be your bread for the meal, but either way, it's super simple. It's totally holiday themed and it is absolutely delicious. So let's get started by talking about our base ingredients. You want to get some of these round bread bowls, and you can either do the larger ones or you can do the smaller ones and kind of have more like a single serve like this. I'm going to show you how to do both, so we're going to start with these smaller ones. We've also got some cranberry sauce in here, and I used a thicker cranberry sauce that's got whole cranberries in it. If you want to use the cranberry jelly, you could certainly do that as well, especially if you don't like the texture of the whole pieces of cranberries in there. We've got brie, a full wheel of brie for this, and then we're going to use olive oil and then garlic, salt, pepper. So let's go ahead and get started by cutting up our bread. So you're going to leave your bread whole, but you are going to cut some cross patterns into it. So we'll just start here on the side, and you're going to cut about every inch or so. It doesn't have to be exact, but pretty close as you can eyeball it here. And once we've cut it this way, we're going to give it a couple cuts in the opposite direction. And it is pretty important that you're using a bread knife for this. You want something that's good and serrated here, and that's what's going to cut through the bread without crushing the bread. So make sure that you are using a bread knife, because a regular knife will just crush your bread down. So we will move this over to our pan here, and then we're going to start working on our brie. Now, brie has this outside coating to it, which is totally edible. If you don't like it, you can certainly cut it off, but keep in mind the inside of the brie is really kind of melty and gooey and soft, so it is a little difficult to work with. We're gonna cut these slices like this and then turn them sideways and cut them in about 1-inch pieces. And then we are just gonna start layering this cheese in between our cuts on our bread here. And you can put cheese in every single cut if you want to. You can put it in every other cut. It's really whatever your preference is. And then we don't have to put it in all of the cross sections. We're just gonna do a few of them here because that cheese is gonna melt out. And you just wanna make sure that one side of each cut of cheese or each cut of bread is touched by cheese. Next, we are gonna go with kind of our savory section here. So just a couple tablespoons of olive oil. You could use melted butter on this if you want to. Just keep in mind olive oil has a higher smoke point, so when we put this in a 350-degree oven, the olive oil is not gonna burn, whereas butter potentially could if you leave it in there for too long. And ours is a little clumped up, but that's totally fine. We're just gonna mash it into the olive oil here until we get a nice garlicky, salty mixture. Get this mixed around, and then we're gonna brush it across the top, but we also kind of wanna get it in between all the crevices there. You want your bread to be warm and delicious, but it's so wonderful when it's cheesy and it's a little bit on the toasty side as well. But just make sure you coat all of the exterior here, because this is gonna help us get that really nice golden shiny crust on the outside. And then we do want it to get down in there, like we said. And then last but not least, we are going to take our cranberry sauce here, and you can be as liberal with this as you want to. This is gonna darken up the outside of our bread, but it's also gonna add the sweet to our salty, and cranberry and brie is a very, very classic combination for a reason. They pair really, really well together. And like I said, as much as you want on there, I'm gonna put quite a bit on mine because I really like the sweet with the salty with the bread in here. And if you are doing this for a holiday party, you can absolutely get this whole thing set up the day ahead of time and then just throw it in the oven right before you head to your party. And then we are gonna put this whole thing in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. We want it to get nice and melty, warm and gooey. I'm gonna pull over my finished one here. And then in order to plate this guy, we are just gonna put it on a nice breadboard. And you can see the outside got deliciously toasty. The brie is nice and gooey on the inside. You can peel out a piece here and you can see it's got that awesome cheese pull to it, that gooey brie, the delicious cranberry on there. We're toasty on the top, but nice and soft on the bottom. It's honestly just the perfect combination. Great for a holiday party. Give it a try, and we'll see you guys next time on Taste of the Ozarks.